Have you ever wondered if you should wear nail polish to protect your nails? Or maybe your nails are damaged and you are going from one treatment to another, spending a lot of money, and your nails are getting worse and worse. By the way, my name is Anna. I'm a nail technician. I've been a nail technician for the last over 25 years, and I've done a lot of manicures and pedicures. So this just comes from my experience. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a biologist, but I overthink everything and I just put things together. So when it comes to nails, I'm very passionate about two things. One is the cuticle, and you guys know it because people now are starting to call me a cuticle police. And then the second thing is white spots. And today we're not going to be talking about cuticle, but we are going to be talking about the white spots on the nails and the nail surface damage. So a few years ago, I did this experiment on one of my long-term clients. I've known her for over 20 years. I really appreciate the fact that she let me do it. So I did this experiment and I will show you the results, and they are quite shocking, quite eye-opening, and I'm very curious what you think. Okay, so this is what we started with. So this client had, or her nails were prone to some surface damage, and she left the nail polish on for a few months and she just let it grow out. And then when she took it off, she said that she had a lot of white spots. The nails looked very, very dry. That's how usually people describe it, but really it's not dryness, and we'll get to it later. It's a surface damage. As you can see, healthy nail here, and what was underneath the nail polish was quite, it was peeling, there was white spots, there was rough, uneven surface, even some chipping. This is after the pedicure. So what I decided to do, I decided to have that client wear nail polish only on one foot to compare, to see how the nail would look after extended nail polish wear. So I chose the better nail, okay? Because if I, let's say, chose this nail, then people would say, well, this one was more damaged and that's why the nail is more damaged. So as sometimes people say the nail polish protects the nails, which I don't believe it does, I protected this nail with the nail polish, and these nails are after a pedicure. So what I did also was I treated both nails the same. So I pedicured the nail the same, I scrubbed both of them with acetone, as if I was removing the nail polish, just so both nails get exactly the same treatment. I did the pedicure. I didn't buff the surface too much, just a little bit, and then I applied a nail polish. I applied Vinylax. This was Vinylax, and then let's see how the nails looked a month later, because this is regular pedicures. So I don't want to show you how the nails would look if I left the nail polish on for too long. This would not be a good test. So let's see how it looked. Not much difference, but it looks like there was a white spot developing on the right side in the middle. I also noticed the yellowing from the polish we see in the Vinylax. The nail on the right foot or on your left is growing out nicely. So yes, definitely you can see some yellowing, and you can see a little bit of a white spot. So let's see how the nails look a month later. Wow. Okay, so this time definitely see more damage on the side that wore polish, and the other side remains undamaged. So this was before a pedicure, and I scrubbed this one with acetone as well. So you can see that I scrubbed really, really well. And this usually would be called a dryness from acetone. Acetone will give you very temporary dryness that looks a little white, but it's different. This is not the white spots. Acetone would not cause this type of damage. This is how the nails looked after a pedicure. Both sides, again, I scrubbed the nails with prep. Actually, it was with alcohol now, before the polish application, so it would be the same on both sides. And then, update April 26. So as you can see, some of the damage grew out, but there was new damage happening here. There's definitely yellowing, and the nail just does not look pretty. Okay, let's see what else I said. The nail, which had nail polish constantly for 3 months, experienced further damage, uneven surface, and white spots now appear higher, closer to the nail fold. So here, closer to here. So this is the whole area that became uneven, lifted, a little bit dry looking, right? So normally people would call it that this is dry, but nail polish cannot cause dryness because nail polish actually raises moisture level in the nail. It doesn't dry the nail out. And again, I wiped this one with acetone. Acetone does not damage the nails, as you can see. This nail was wiped as much as this one. And usually even dermatologists would tell you that this type of damage is from harsh solvents. And that's clearly not the case. So this was in April. This was my last test pedicure. After that, the client wanted a regular pedicure with both feet painted, and we then switched her to Dazzle Dry. And unfortunately, I can't find many pictures other than this picture that was taken a year and a couple months later. So this was taken after a whole summer of wearing Dazzle Dry nail polish. As you can see, no damaged surface, no yellowing, no dryness. And I also wiped the nails or removed the polish with acetone. And there was no oil applied because oil hides a lot of the damage. There was no oil applied. I just wiped the nails with prep. That's it. So the bottom line, it's not the acetone that causes dryness. It's also clearly not my pedicure techniques. This client is still wearing her regular shoes, so it's not the shoes. In my opinion, it's the nail polish wear that can cause nail surface damage, with the exception of Dazzle Dry. In this case, which has quite a different chemical composition than most polishes on the market. And I'm saying in this case, because I'm not saying that Dazzle Dry will never cause any surface damage. It does sometimes, but in my experience, much less. And I'll talk about it a little bit later. Here I'm mentioning, please note, extensive wear of Dazzle Dry can also cause surface damage, but from my experience, that happens much less. With extended non-stop wear of Dazzle Dry, some people still experience white spots, much more rarely than with regular polish, but absolutely no yellowing. In the 4 years that I've been using Dazzle Dry, there's absolutely I've never seen any client having any yellowing. Okay, and I made some notes about the nail surface damage and why this could be happening. So I don't think it is the one thing that causes the surface damage, because then it would be easier to avoid it. So I think it might be caused by 5 different things actually. So number one, I think that the coating that is bonded to the nail and the nail constantly expanding and contracting when is exposed to water, because when the nail is almost like a sponge. When it absorbs a lot of water, it expands. When it dries out, it contracts. Maybe that movement, with the coating always being the same size, maybe the coating eventually pulls on the nail when it expands. And then the nail cells basically get pulled with the coating because they're stuck to the coating. So something has to happen. Either the polish will peel off, or the polish will hold on to the nail, but the cells will peel off. And I think this is what's happening. Number two, what can be contributing to this is the coating getting very brittle over time, because all these coatings are really kind of plastics. And at first they're quite flexible. Maybe they're moving with the nail a little bit more. But then with time, they become more brittle. And we see more surface damage when the polish has been on the nail for extended period of time. So for example, sometimes I see on the clients that when they wear nail polish and they change the nail polish on a regular basis, let's say every 3 weeks or every 4 weeks, they don't get a lot of surface damage. But then they have their last pedicure of the year in October or something. And then sometimes they leave the nail polish on, and then February comes and it's time for their March break or whatever. And they come in with that old nail polish, and then you take off that old nail polish, and then there is major surface damage. So this doesn't make sense when people blame, again, the solvents, the acetone, because in that case, there should be less damage because people are using the acetone less, and usually there is more damage. So that's strange, right? Another thing that I think we can suspect is the fact that normally nails rely, or they can rely on some oils from when we touch our skin and when we touch our hair. And in the case of when you are wearing nail polish all the time, maybe the nails are not receiving oils like they normally would if they were uncovered. And if you are applying oil on the nail polish, the oil does not really penetrate as well. Right? So it's still beneficial, definitely, applying oil when you have your nails polished for different reasons, because we still want to care for the skin around the nails. And actually the oil could plasticize the nail polish so it can stay a little bit more flexible, and that seems to be helping to prevent some surface damage. So I don't think it's the oil penetrating all the way through to the nail plate, but I think maybe the oil, proper oil, can plasticize the nail polish and make it less brittle. Number 4, this is very interesting. I definitely think that nitrocellulose in a nail polish can have something to do with it, because nitrocellulose is a film forming ingredient. It's a very common ingredient that most of, if not all, other than Dazzle dry polishes have it. Why? It's not that it's a bad ingredient. It makes a beautiful, nice, plump film on the nails that is very shiny, that is not very, very thin. But apparently, Dr. Vivian Valenti, who is the inventor of Dazzle Dry, she wrote a very interesting article explaining why nitrocellulose can be problematic for the nails and why it can yellow the nails. This was printed in the Nail Pro magazine online, or printed, I don't know. And she was saying that nitrocellulose is an excellent film former for nail polish because it's soluble in organic solvents such as acetone and ethyl and butyl acetate, has relatively good adhesion to the nail plate. However, it has drawbacks. And she said when the water is present, it's not easy to remove it completely. Some decomposition happens and it liberates the nitro group into nitric acid. Nitric acid has a small molecule that can penetrate through the nail polish onto the nail, and it's a strong oxidizer that can oxidize some organic compounds. Certain pigments and proteins are example of these substances. One such protein is keratin. So basically, it's important to know that natural nail plate is composed mostly of this keratin, of this protein. And then the nitric acid reacts with the nail plate, with the keratin, and it results in the yellowing of the natural nails. So I think definitely this makes sense, and I think maybe that can also contribute to some of the surface damage, not just yellowing, but some of the surface damage as well. So I'm going to leave a link to this article in the description box below. And the 5th reason why this might be happening to some people and maybe less to other people is that maybe some people are just more prone to this damage because maybe the cells in their nails are not very well bonded together and anything can pull it apart. So maybe that's why some people experience the surface damage, and then another person can wear nail polish pretty much forever and they don't see any surface damage, because it's definitely not happening for everyone. When it comes to nail polish protecting the nails, I asked that question on Instagram a while ago, and people had different opinions. Some people were saying that yes, definitely nail polish, when they wear nail polish, their nails are getting damaged. And then another group of people, quite a few people, were saying that only with nail polish they're able to grow the nails. So really, what is protection? In the way I see it is that I would hope that when I tell someone, a client, so I'm looking at this from my perspective, when I tell the client that I'm applying something to protect their nails, when that thing is removed, I hope that their nails are not in the worst shape. Because then the client could be upset saying, well, now this damaged my nails. But some people don't see it that way, and I kind of understand, because they're saying, well, if I wear nail polish, then I'm able to wear longer nails because the nail polish is supporting my nails. So I'm very curious what you think about that and how you see the word protection. And again, I think I'm looking at it, I'm overthinking this because I'm looking at it as a service provider and as a manicurist. And when I promise clients that something is going to protect their nails, then when they come back, like in this case of this client, after a summer of wearing nail polish, and now her nails are yellow, they have uneven surface and they kind of look ugly, then she might be upset. So I don't hate on a nail polish. Honestly, I love to wear it and I like the way it looks, but I always see it as an icing on the cake. I always look at it as a dessert. So I don't eat desserts for my health. I eat them, or sweets, whatever, because I like it. But I know if I overdo it, that's not going to be good for my health. And I think this is the same situation with nail polish. And for some people, overdoing could be wearing nail polish for 2 weeks, and for some people, maybe 3 months. So it really depends. So I think everything in moderation. And I think if someone really wants to protect their nails and condition their nails, I would rather recommend warm jojoba soaks and generally an oil, more oil use after preferably each hand wash. And that protects and conditions the nails way more than any nail polish ever could. So if someone is really into swimming or excessive water exposure, instead of wearing nail polish that I don't think prevents the moisture from absorbing into the nail, because nail polish is porous as well. This is how the acetone actually removes it. It's a very porous product. So the moisture actually gets absorbed into the nail plate. So it doesn't protect you from water. I would rather see that person use nail oil in order to protect their nails, because when nail oil, a good nail oil, is used on a regular basis over a long period of time, it seeps into the nail plate, protecting it and plasticizing it. And when you've done it long enough, it's not going to be as easy to just remove it with simple hand washing. So over time, I think it's very, very effective protecting the nails. And a lot of people on my channel have reported that once they started using the oil and they stopped using nail polish, their nails improved greatly. But it takes time, because let's say if your nails have surface damage, you just don't see it because you wear polish all the time, and then you take polish, then your nails are going to fall apart. But it's not because the polish was really helping them. It's because the nail polish actually caused some surface damage, and now they don't have that crutch in order to be able to survive on their own, right? So oil is never going to cause it. So if you like the look of nail polish, I find the Dazzle Dry tends to be more gentle. And I say tends to because that also depends, because I have heard people saying that it has damaged their nails. So it depends what you compare it to. If you compare it to, let's say, using oil and conditioning your nails with oil, then yes, extensive any polish wear can cause surface damage. But if you compare it to other brands and people extensively using other brands, then from my experience, it's much more gentle on the nail. So if you like to wear nail polish and you would like to minimize the surface damage, I think the best thing to do are two things. First of all, keep your nails as healthy as possible, because healthy nails get damaged less. When you apply nail polish on a damaged surface, it tends to damage the nail a little bit more. And number two is prevention. So take breaks. So don't wait until your nails are very damaged before you take the polish off, because then again, the nails are just going to break. Before the damage happens, take breaks. And I would suggest, again, wearing the nail polish for 5 to 6 days, taking it off, doing warm oil soak. For some people, for example, if you wear nail polish once in a while, wearing it for 2 weeks, it absolutely is perfectly fine. But when people wear it all the time, maybe for your nails it's going to be 3-4 days and then having 4 days off. It really depends on your nails. If your nails are damaged, maybe sometimes waiting until the damage is grown out, treating the nails with oil and then using nail polish could be a good idea. Also, I find if your nails are damaged and if you really want to cover them with something because you just like the look of something shiny on your nails, using just a base coat and top coat, preferably from Dazzle Dry. I know I keep talking about Dazzle Dry, but I really like it. And I find that even my clients that are prone to surface damage with other polishes, they do not experience surface damage with just one layer of Dazzle Dry base coat and one layer of top coat, even when they wear it for 2 weeks. So I don't want to guarantee it, but I know this is happening and this is possible. And if you have seen this video, but you still want me to help you, I am available. So please check out the service that I do provide. And the link is in the comment section and in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.